Radio Chingala, restoring everything in Christ with love and truth. Good morning, community news. I'm Kennedy Mbewe Jr. Kindly be informed that we are also live on the Radio Chingala Facebook page. To you, our Facebook viewers. The headlines: COVID-19 is real. Zicta advises the general public to use digital platforms. Plus, Kansanshi Dynamos confident of excelling in the remaining 9 matches. The details. The Zambia Conference of Catholic Bishops, ZCCB, says COVID-19 is not a story but real. ZCCB has observed that the disease has spread to all parts of the country, from the initial epicenters of Lusaka, Kahiwe, and Nakonde, and that nobody knows how many and how far the pandemic will go before it starts showing signs of stabilizing. The conference says there was need to increase the number of people being tested each day to know the full extent of the infection in the population. It has added that in spite of all the measures that the Ministry of Health has continued to implore citizens to follow, it is saddening to see that life has continued as before in most areas in Zambia. ZCCB adds that social distancing and wearing of masks are not being observed even by the very people who pronounced the measures. The conference has since called for the reinforcement of preventive measures and has implored Zambians to come together and renew the fight against the common enemy, COVID-19. This is according to a statement. This is according to ZCCB President Bishop George Lungu, who issued a statement after concluding the plenary of Catholic bishops held from 14th to 17th July 2020. Meanwhile, some people are still living in denial that coronavirus does not exist in Zambia. This is despite the continued rise of positive cases in the country, with a death toll now standing at 128. According to a survey conducted by the Human Rights Commission in selected urban and peri-urban areas, people are now defying the public health guidelines due to continued denial of coronavirus existence. Spokesperson Mwelomle is worried and has since called for behavioral change in the fight against the pandemic. And the Jesuit Center for Theological Reflections, JCTR, has expressed concern at the complacency among residents in the fight against COVID-19. JCTR Executive Director Father Alex Muyembe says people have stopped observing the COVID-19 health guidelines, especially in public places. Father Muyembe is afraid that the attitude among Zambians may trigger a rise in the number of new infections.
Laxity on COVID-19 preventive measures in Zambia has come at a time when community transmission of COVID-19 is steadily increasing. It is evident that people in the communities have prematurely dropped the guard. For instance, it is common these days to see large crowds of people in the communities moving up and about without wearing face masks. Of great concern is the laxity on COVID-19 preventive measures. This is a recipe for disaster. We risk being overrun by the pandemic, which is silently infiltrating our communities.
The Zambia Information and Communications Technology Authority, ZICTA, has advised the general public to use digital platforms and other facilities when lodging complaints and engaging the authority. The appeal follows the recording of one COVID-19 case by a member of staff at ZICTA head office in Lusaka. In a statement, ZICTA Director General Patrick Mutumishi said the authority would continue to operate under strict guidelines to mitigate the current situation and to curb the further spread of the virus. Zambia is still having a huge fish deficit because a number of citizens have not ventured into fish farming. The 2019 statistics from the Ministry of Livestock and Fisheries put Zambia's annual fish deficit at 87,000 metric tons. Kitwe-based fish farmer John Chitendwa has told Radio Chingala News that fish farming is profitable and can only flourish and reduce the deficit when fish farmers are empowered.
Nachingirira kumbali konse bakwa kichangafwako okukiye kuli bakagwala kai mwalishwa ama places yamwe tutekeramu ni ma places aya mu abantu abengira ikinga kwenna abakukimwemu kwali babantu abengi limbi kuti kakwala aba mutali cholubiro kuti asafura mwishiba limbi afuya mulamwiri wakwatemirana namanga chakutira kuliko bwa fulisha ufunga kuteko limbi wakwafa akarukia kalikozi kuti waesho kuchingira wabika mawaya amashu ya kulegesho ningeba kuicha nango abanandi bachawutwa ilimba mu mulimo wakutekesa twalafu abantu abandi abawasikwete kweshoko lya kutekesa ukula kwata kwesa bilisuma ukucha yesa bilika inye shishingi mu fridge.
In other news, the Basic Education Teachers Union of Zambia, Betus, on the Copperbelt has welcomed government's plan to build houses for teachers. Union Provincial Chairperson Aaron Kunka says teachers are lacking decent accommodation. In an interview with Radio Channel News, Mr. Kunka said he is hoping for the soon commencement of the construction works.
Union, because our fight is to ensure that all the teachers are supposed to be accommodated in decent houses. And this has been a long time overdue thing that we as a union have been looking forward to. So the pronouncement by the president is a welcome move. And as the tools on the Copperbelt, we feel delighted, and all the teachers are very delighted because they need these houses almost today.
Community news comes to you in the community service of Radio Chengelo with compliments of Indo-Zambia Bank. In football, Kansanshi Dynamos coach Beston Chambeshi says a draw forced against the Zesco United will motivate his players to excel in the remaining 9 matches. The Mawanga boys held Zesco United to a 1-0 draw in Sunday's AFA's Super Division match played at Levi Mwanawasa Stadium in Ndola. Chambeshi has since saluted his players for putting up a spirited performance. As we end community news, the headlines again. COVID-19 is real. Zikta advises the general public to use digital platforms. Kansanshi Dynamos confident of excelling in the remaining 9 matches. For these and more stories, you can visit our Facebook page, log on to Facebook, like the Radio Chingalo page, and link to radiochingalo.radio12345.com, or you can still listen to Radio Chingalo via Radio Garden app. And remember, COVID-19, according to the statement by the Zambia Catholic of Zambia Conference of Catholic Bishops, COVID-19 is real. Therefore, remember to avoid large groups and practice social distancing. Wear a face mask when in public. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze with a flexed elbow, handkerchief, or tissue. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects and surfaces. So on behalf of the entire news team and Chipoya Kauma, the camera person for our Facebook page, my name is Kennedy Mbewa Jr. Thank you very much for listening and enjoy your day.